Should we start? I think we should just start. We'll talk about it while we're there, yeah? Today, my guests are legends of South Beach. I mean, I'm a legend, but in my own mind, these guys are legitimate legends of South Beach. Bobby Radical and Diego Caiola. How are you guys doing? What's going on?
Thanks for having us, brother.
Hey, man, this is what I do. You know, I'm an equal opportunity. Let's go out and have a good time, and let's create something special here in Miami.
Thanks for inviting us for the show. I've known you for a few years. I know we've had you on our show, Weekends Miami Beach.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us on the show.
No, absolutely. So let's talk about what you have going on here. Obviously, we're going to talk about the South Beach Film Festival, which is an absolutely brainchild of you guys. Who thought of the idea? What was the genesis of the idea? And tell us a little bit about the first one and now how it's going to be different on the second one.
It's Diego's idea. It's his brainchild.
Okay.
And we just, it kind of fizzled out before COVID, and then it came back alive with some new partnership, and we're taking the world by storm now.
Yeah. Look, I'm in project development, but I'm a film major.
Right.
So in 2020, when the pandemic hit, I said, I want to get back into film somehow, some way. And I'm the type of guy, I like to do things first.
Yeah. Perfection
I'll
is the enemy of progress.
Exactly. I'll take the risk. Yeah. I'll be the first one to do it. If it bombs, it bombs. If it's great, excellent. You know what I mean? So 2020, I met up with Pluto TV. And
I love Pluto.
Pitched it to them in 2020. We flew out to North Carolina and pitched it to them and stuff like that. And they were in.
Yeah.
So it sounds great, because I wanted a big sponsor like that with a platform. And the meeting was 2020 February. In 2020 March, we get that email.
Oh my God.
It sounds like a great project, but unfortunately, we need to cut all projects that we're moving forward. So we had to put it in the back burner, because every time we try to do it, like 2021, we couldn't use none of the facilities. Everything was still closed. We were like, let's wait till 2024, 2023, and see when it's ready. So it was ready around 2024. We decided to build it. We reached out to Pluto, and Pluto by then was just mammoth. When we reached them, they were just starting off. They were building, but 4 years later, the pandemic just blew up Pluto, made them huge now. So we couldn't bring them along, but I wanted to do something in the film industry. You know what I mean? Something that would bring great films to Miami Beach, right? Bring back the Scarface, all these big movies that were here before. And, it's our hometown. We grew up here. Bobby's a legend in the nightlife industry, art industry down here. I reached out to him. He does a lot of documentary. And I said, Bobby, let's do a film festival.
It's a no-brainer. I can't believe the city doesn't have one already.
Yeah.
That's what I said. When you first came to me, or I heard about it, and then, I saw that you were involved, you were the originator of it, I said, how does this not exist already? Yeah. We had the Miami Film Festival. You have like all these
Which
other...
is extremely successful.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's great. Yeah. You have the Fort Lauderdale Film Festival. How does South Beach not have their own film festival? South Beach is... Nobody in Ohio, or in Wyoming says, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to go to downtown Miami for vacation. No, people say, I'm going to South Beach on vacation,
Yeah, look, in 2013, 2014, I signed a contract with Honda to do the South Beach Bike Week.
Okay.
And we did it. We did it 2 years. We stopped doing it because Honda backed out, and the city wasn't so crazy about having 2,000 motorcycles on
Bike Week, yeah.
It was, we had late night parties at the Clevelander, and people were leaving at midnight. So when you have, 500 motorcycles leaving Clevelander,
it's not quiet.
Driving through the, Lenox and Jefferson and revving their motorcycles. So we had to cut that, but I love.
Hold on, parentheses on that. Don't you think the city would rather have, 500 motorcycle enthusiasts driving through South Beach instead of, these college kids who are just rioting?
Look, the great thing about a lot of people, when they think about motorcycle festival, they're like, Hell's Angel, alcoholic. No. these people that come to the motorcycle festival, if they have a $50,000 motorcycle, that's disposable income.
Correct.
I mean, these people have money in their pockets. They have a big house. They have a car. If this is like their play toy, that they're 50 grand, these are people with money. And it's true. I mean, you go ask Cleveland there, you go ask, well, a lot of places closed nightclubs that we had a lot of events, and it was very successful.
But unfortunately, there's more constituents than there are. What's the word? There's more constituents to vote for them than there are business owners. So one outweighs the other. When you got 200 homeowners calling,
right,
and you got one business owner that's making all the money, who's not even living here, not going to vote for you. You got to listen to your.
And right now we wouldn't be able to do South Beach Bike Week here.
No.
The reason why, when we did it, we rented out all the meters on Ocean Drive. When Ocean Drive with both were open.
They weren't doing like permits. We could get the permits, say no parking except for special events.
We rented all the meters from 7th Street to 12th Street on Ocean Drive.
Oh, wow.
Back then, there was 2 ways, and there was actual meters there. So we had all the motorcycles lined up on Ocean Drive. Now there's nowhere to put them.
Yeah, that's the truth.
There's nowhere to do a motorcycle festival unless the city rolls out the red carpets, give us a good budget, but that's not going to happen.
So that's my next question. How much of a partner is the city on this? How much of the partner is Brittany and the Chamber of Commerce on this? Because it's events like this. We saw it happen with Memorial Day weekend. That if you create the programming, it really does make a huge impact on the city. How much of a partner has the city and the Chamber of Commerce and the bid spent as well? We've spoken about Washington Avenue, Lincoln Road, and Ocean Drive.
Brittany, I love.
Yeah.
She's the CEO of the Chamber. Anything I need from her, she's always helpful. So whenever I need anything from her, she's always on. We've had her on the show before. The city really hasn't been that helpful. And I think it's the person that's in the events department and the tourism department.
It's politics. It's, and
what happens was, before we brought in the film festival, the city was shopping around to bring a film festival. And they had like $1.3 million, and then they had to offer for $3 million. So I think we did something that internally the city wanted to do on their own, and now we're doing it.
Right.
So I think they're just waiting to see what happens.
With the if we drop the ball.
And they can pick it up or something like that. But the great thing about us is the relationships we have. So we really didn't need the city.
Absolutely.
We have the relationship with Lincoln Road. They open the doors, whatever you need. We have the relationship with Collins Park. Open the door, whatever you need. Same thing with Ocean Drive. Anything we need. So I think that's what helped us out a lot, not having the city backing us up, is having those relationships, with decision makers of certain organizations and areas that said, Diego, we love you, we love what you do, bring the festival over here. And and it's a great crowd. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, people that come for film festivals, it's a great crowd. You know what I mean?
So let's talk a little bit about some of the venues. Our friend Alex at Burgermeister is one of the sponsors.
Yes.
How many venues do you have, and where are you going to be? Where the video is going to be, or the movie is going to be playing, and what's the schedule look like for the whole festival?
So it's May 13th to May 17th. The kickoff is May 13th at the
Avalon. Yes, I saw that.
Is sold out.
I love the Avalon.
Yeah, it's great. We're trying to work with only Art Deco hotels.
Okay.
And then Avalon is one venue, and then we have the Marseille Hotel.
Okay.
Which is another venue, and then we have our rooftop cinema at Twisted Tonic.
On Lincoln Road.
Yeah.
Great spot.
And then we're kicking off the Rotunda, which is on Collins Park. They just
rebuilt the Rotunda
there. So we're the first.
By the Bath Museum?
In front of the Bath Museum. We're the first event at the Rotunda. And then we're doing it on Collins Park, and then we're doing it on Lincoln Road. So we have about 5 venues.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You know what sucks here is that there's no theater.
Right.
The Regal.
The Regal's gone. What about the Cinematique? What was it? The one right by City Hall.
Oh, Cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cinema. Is that the one by City Hall? Okay.
Yeah, it's right there, Cinema.
Yeah.
The thing with Cinema, it's a little bit pricey, and it's really small. And we love them there. Don't get us wrong. It's a great venue, but it's just we needed more seats, and we needed something bigger.
Right.
And something that was either doing it on Lincoln Road, which everyone knows, and have a huge following, or doing it in a small cinema.
Yeah.
And Lincoln Road didn't charge us anything. They're like, just bring activation.
Yeah, that's it. Just bring people, bring awareness to. That's something that I feel, and we're here on Lincoln Road. I love Lincoln Road, and Lincoln Road and Ocean Drive are synonymous with South Beach, right? And Lincoln Road, it goes through these ebbs and flows where sometimes it'll be a ghost town, and other times it's got just a steady flow of people. Not too many people where it's overcrowded, like on Halloween, for example, but it's got enough people where it feels the vibe. And activations like this, they should be doing activations like this every single weekend on Lincoln Road.
And that's what we're trying to pick up right now. We're in talks with Lincoln Road to do a monthly screening on Lincoln Road. But now, we're going to tailor this a little bit different next year.
And also, the city has a long-term plan. They have a long-term vision. We're putting up this huge hotel next to the convention center.
Right.
And there's other plans for Ocean Drive that haven't been released, but there's down the road, they're putting tons of money in here. They've got big values, and I don't know values, but big visions of what they're doing.
There is no shortage of funds in Miami Beach.
Yeah, Miami there's they're not saying they're not letting the cat out of the bag.
Right.
But it was great because it positions us for when all this does, when the flowers do bloom.
Yeah.
We're already 6 years into the
Look,
the festival.
We've traveled to other film festivals and met up with the event managers of the film festival, just to say hi, pick brains and stuff like that.
Sure.
And there's nothing like what we do. I mean, I'm not going to name names, but we've been to some film festivals.
Yeah, well, we have this great backdrop that is South Beach, which separates us from everything. Yeah. So when you're going through to see what film festivals you're going to go see and travel to,
South Beach, it's in the name.
Yeah, a lot,
Can I share with you something? So, and Bobby, you created one of the greatest documentaries about South Beach of all time. That's number one. We got to talk a little bit about that as well. But I feel like there have been a lot of great franchise reality shows, like the Real Housewives, like $1 Million Listing, the real estate one. And I've always said that the reason that they don't do well in Miami is that they try to take the same formula from these other cities and apply it here. Yeah. Whereas, and I've said to them, I've had meetings with the executive producers, and I said, South Beach is a character. Yeah. You have to give it equal time. People don't want to see these people arguing over, $10, $20 million real estate deals, or arguing over whose bag is better than the other bag. People want to see South Beach. They want to see the beautiful people, the white sand, the blue skies, the cool cars, the people rollerblading. That's what they want to see. And that's why I think that having South Beach in the name automatically is going to lead to huge success.
100%. Look, first year, second year film festivals, maybe they'll get 20 submissions, 30 submissions, because we've spoken to other ones.
How many do you guys have?
Hundreds.
That's amazing.
Hundreds. And we're screening about 33. But, I mean, we have hundreds in the past 2 years. And when we tell this to other event coordinators of film festivals, like, what? But it's true. South Beach. If it would have been North Miami Film Festival, we would not have got the same reaction.
No.
Kendall Film Festival, that's South Beach.
Nobody says in Ohio, Wyoming, North Dakota, nobody says in the middle of February, I'm going to go to Coral Gables on vacation.
Exactly.
They all say, I'm going to South Beach to go on vacation.
Yeah. South Beach. And it's all in the name.
100%. Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the films that are being featured here, because you have over 100, you said, right?
Submitted, yeah. We can only screen under 50s.
Okay, yeah. I mean that makes sense. So one of the ones that I saw that kind of caught my eye was Beyond the Border.
Yes.
And it deals with Latino representation in Hollywood. Can you talk a little bit about how you landed this in the film festival and what it's about?
It's a documentary of the impact Latinos had in Hollywood.
Okay.
For the past 100 years.
And how they've been stereotyped. Only certain roles are given to them.
Yeah.
And, so they're really, pigeon-toed in, to this this illusion that Hollywood has created of a Latino.
Right.
And then so they're trying to break out of that because there's, we're living in Miami, you see it, when I grew up in Miami, and when I used to go visit other cities, people were so stereotypical of what they think Miami and where the Latin is, and people don't have a clue.
Yeah, no.
It's like I was going to Vanilla, visiting Vanilla, coming from a thousand 1,000 flavors. You
Sure.
know?
Yeah, coming
Like,
from Baskin Robbins and you were going to whatever.
Yeah. The people that are just like, but you can't convince a fly that, what do they say, the honeybee can't convince a fly that honey's better than shit.
Yeah, you're like me. I screw up all of these, euphemisms and dichos, as we say in Spanish, right? I confuse them, I mix them together, but everybody understands what you're saying when you say
get the
it.
gist.
Yeah. So, and that's something that I think is really important, and people don't realize, how influential Desi Arnaz was in Hollywood. I mean, he was right up there with the Warners and everybody else had founded Hollywood.
They had to break the ground on culturism.
Correct.
Bring culture into American pie.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And we're really excited about that. A lot of celebrities are on that documentary.
Yeah.
And they're going to be hopefully coming into town for it. And it's what we need here. South Beach needs more celebrities, more pictures. When we grew up here,
if they wouldn't, if the state wouldn't have messed up the taxes and everybody wouldn't have gone to Atlanta, God only knows where we'd be right now.
I mean, in the mid '90s, my brother worked at a record store on Lincoln Road, and I would go visit him, and Sylvester Stallone walking by.
Everybody was here,
like on their own. And first of all, he's about 5 foot tall, but he's all these actors are going by. I was dating this girl that worked at News Cafe. She was the cashier. And I used to go visit her all the time. And Gianni Versace would go there every day in his robe. Because
he would go have
on
his
8th Street. He'd walk 3 blocks.
He'd have his cappuccino, and he'd get the newspaper.
The reason he would go
he'd get the oigi, as they would say in Italian.
Back then, I don't know about now, but News Cafe had all the magazines, newspapers all over the world.
That's why it's called News Cafe.
Yeah, so he used to go there and sit there and talk to my ex-girlfriend, and he'll go and sit on the phone. You can't do that now. You know what I mean? And he'll just be saying hi to people. It was incredible. And a lot of people, and we have to give thanks to someone that just passed away, Michelle Palmier.
Oh, yeah.
She just passed away about 2 weeks ago. And
Jerry Kelly just passed.
And Jerry
Kelly
just
the other day.
Just passed, yeah. And I couldn't believe, because I live in Miami Shores. He lives there too. I saw him last month on Publix. All of a sudden he's dead. But back to Michelle Palmier. She's a big reason why Hollywood came here. She was the biggest model agency.
Yep.
And she brought all the stars here,
She was the original. She was the OG.
Yeah. She was the one that said, let's start shooting on, white sand, blue.
Ocean Drive, yeah.
Well, originally she was in Coral Gables, and then they, she moved over here.
To Ocean Drive.
Amazing.
Yep.
And you ever see the movie, what's the movie, If You Build It, They Will Come, the baseball movie? What's the baseball movie? If You Build It, it's with Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
So if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
So if we continue to do events like the South Beach Film Festival, we continue to say, hey, we want to put a TV studio on Lincoln Road. We want to have entertainment in South Beach. They will come. It's a guarantee.
Yeah. That's Johnny Churchin's favorite line.
Who's Johnny Church?
Johnny Churchin, his father built all of Mid Beach.
Okay.
They built probably like 87 buildings, something like that.
No kidding.
The Churchin, and then Johnny and Tommy, the sons, were used to have the silver spoon. They built Club New. Club New
okay.
was the club that put Miami Beach.
Got it.
Because they flew in they did these junkets. They flew in Michael Musto and everybody from
Was
New
that
York.
on 1235 Club New or no?
It's right across from Bass Museum.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, where the kitchen club is.
Yeah, where that it's the museum, the library is now.
Oh, okay.
Right.
By the
across
ballet.
from the library,
Right
the
yeah.
ballet.
We spoke about that. I saw Marilyn Manson there for the first time in 1992.
You were what, 6 years old?
I was 15, and back then, and Bobby knows this story. I used to get into this club called Kitchen Club. It was
in the
best.
Seagull.
Yeah,
Seagull
it was the
Hotel.
best. And the reason I would get in there is that I would bring a pizza. I would go around the corner, buy a pizza, and it would be packed. There would be crowds out there, and I'll pick up the pizza. And the bouncer guys, they couldn't leave, and they were all smoking bud and everything.
Yeah, right.
And they'll be like, bring that kid over here, and he'll let me through. I'll give him the pizza, and I will get in the
Genius. It's like, I'm with the band.
And that's true story, man. Kitchen Club's the only reason.
Wow.
It was either get my fake ID taken away from me, or feed these guys some pizza that are, working the door and stuff like that. But one night it was so packed they couldn't even let me in. I crossed the street and I went to that nightclub and I saw Marilyn Manson there for the first time.
No way.
It was 10 people in the room.
Yeah.
And they started throwing plastic chickens with mint gum with like a chicken on there.
Out of their minds.
It was just out of their minds. Yeah. Those were great times.
Let's get back to some of the films. So another film that's going to be, I guess, premiering. Are they premiering these films?
Yeah.
Another film is Inside the Oasis, the story of South Florida's gay mecca.
Yeah, it's a documentary.
It's a documentary. So how'd you get this film, and tell me a little bit about it?
Well, we belong to a website called Film Freeway. That's where all the film festivals go and promote their festival. Mm-hmm. So that's where all the directors, producers, actors, they all go on that website and say, okay, what's coming up? And also a lot of advertising that we've done. So it really depends where they come from, but a lot come from Film Freeway.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the website.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, look. It's
and now, is this made by a local filmmaker?
Yeah, by a local guy down here in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And it starts all the way from like the 70s to now. Wow. Like how the gay population, all the gay organizations just made Miami what it is right now, Fort Lauderdale, Miami.
So back when AIDS came out, everybody was coming down here for treatment. They were going to Key West.
Okay.
And then they stopped off here, and on the way to Key West, and like, wait, why don't we just stay here?
Yeah.
Why are we going
have somebody have a courier go down and get the treatment or get the medication, bring it back for us.
Back here, yeah.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. And then another one is Last Shot. This looks interesting as well. Tell me a little bit about this film.
Well, I mean,
Jamie Presley. Ooh.
Yeah, we love her. She was on the show Mom. You ever seen the show Mom?
I know Jamie Presley.
Okay.
Yeah, she was on Jamie Presley was on one of the greatest episodes of Entourage ever. Jamie Presley was throwing a party at her beach house in Malibu.
No way.
And Gary, who's the crazy Gary? Gary, not Sinise. Gary. Well, whatever. And he's there, and it's like just like this crazy episode. Season 2, I think episode 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Jamie Presley was in, and she takes her shirt off and goes swimming in the ocean with
topless?
She had a bra on, but close enough, you know.
So Michael Rappaport's on this too. There's a couple of good actors on there, but she's also the producer of this film.
Really? Now, well, like you said, you're trying to get some of the celebrities to come to the festival.
Most
Will
of
they
them
be coming?
of that movie are coming.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's the Lincoln Road one, which is sold out. But you call us.
Yeah, no. Listen, I'm going to be doing the interviews. I gotta, I'm Ronnie G. I don't know if you know this, but
no.
Maybe you've heard of me. Google me. I'm famous.
Thank you for being one of the sponsors.
Yeah,
one
of course,
our media
absolutely.
Sponsors.
And rumor has it that Rick Sykes is going to be hosting that particular event.
That red carpet event.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why I love Rick Sykes.
You New Yorkers stick together, man. I'm telling you.
Rick Sykes. Look, I'm a shameless self-promoter. Okay. Rick Sykes.
You got nothing on him.
Makes me look like like an angel compared to him.
Yeah.
He'll walk into some place and say, have you ever heard of me? Like, I'm famous. I'm Rick Sykes. And people will be like, yeah, we don't know. Like you were on a show a couple of years ago, like whatever.
I met him last year. He came to one of our film festival rooftop parties.
Magnet.
He walked in with 2 hotties.
Yeah.
The guy's probably 75 around there. He brought 2 hotties. I'm like, who this? With a pink suit on and stuff. I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
Bobby introduced me to him, and since then we've
You know what? I think I need to get a pink suit so I can out Rick Sykes.
That's going to be tough because it's not just the suit.
And you need the curly hair. You need a bunch of things.
Yeah. Well, I got a lot going for me.
Chain. He showed us a picture of this huge chain that he has on.
And he's also he's working on a reality television series called Hot Life Miami or Hot Miami. I don't know. And he sent me some of the clips of it, and it has potential. Just the clips he sent me, I'm like, dude, this looks like it was shot. Like they're going back and forth between small frame, big wide frame, and I'm like,
he showed us
who shot
intro.
this?
He has his hand in everything. He was in a Burger commercial recently, a bunch of things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's
an interesting dude.
One of a kind.
I have a saying called Definitely Miami. And people always say, what is Definitely Miami? It was my TV show that I did with the Beach Channel, and then it was on NBC. And just like you guys had, you wanted to, and you had Pluto TV on the hook to do your festival in February 2020. NBC was like, all right, guys, sorry. You can't do any location shoots. You can only do studio shoots, and you got to get vaccinated. And I'm like, yeah, no, we're not doing it anymore. And that's how I got into doing streaming TV. But
But this is good. Definitely be there for that.
But what was I saying? Jesus Christ, I forgot what
About Rick.
No, I was saying something about it. Oh, so about that, and yeah, so I just completely forgot what the hell I was going to say. But that's the beauty of video, and we could just edit everything together.
100%.
You know. So let's talk about this one. This is a little bit of an older film. I don't know what the title of this one is, but
It's Hollywood Babylon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hollywood Babylon goes back to the 20s and prior to that, and it tells the history of how the CIA is involved in programming everything we see. You know, this is, you know, the silver screen is so powerful in shaping society that they're going to be the bakers making that cake.
And the CIA is absolutely infiltrated. The same way that the communists tried to infiltrate Hollywood, the CIA beat them to it. And that's why everything we see in Hollywood everything's got a message behind it. And they also, do you know the CIA has a film budget to go out and produce films? And it's crazy. You ever see that movie Argo with Ben Affleck?
Yeah, Ben Affleck.
That's exactly, that's a true story. That's exactly what they do, you know?
That's just a piece of what they can let us know that they're up to.
Yeah, I know. Well, I want to talk a little bit about, I touched on it before, but you know, you have a legendary documentary about South Beach, Bobby. Can you tell us a little bit about your documentary?
Well, I came back from New York. I'm originally from Miami. Came back in '88, and South Beach was just blowing up then. And I was doing graphic design for all the nightclubs, so I got in everywhere. And back then we had these disposable 35 millimeter cameras that came in a little cardboard box.
The yellow ones from Kodak, right?
Yeah. And I'd take one out every night, and I had a club calendar called the Radical Report, which was 2 weeks at a glance of all the, because it started out, we had one party to go to each night, and then it caught on. People were like, wait a minute, I can do a better party than that. Then there's 5 parties each night, and you know, it was hard to keep track of everything. So I had facing that page in a cool magazine called Postmortem, I had a paparazzi page. And so with those disposable cameras, I went around, took pictures, and instead of having a square thing, I cut them out and made collages, put thought bubbles, little voice blurbs, and wrote out.
What's the name of your documentary?
The documentary is The Making of South Beach. But my page was called The Radical Report.
Wow.
So what happened was in 2012, I moved out of South Beach, got to get my sanity, glad to be still alive, but I had a suitcase full of these 35 millimeter negatives. And I put them in my closet, and I had this, you know, that voice inside said, if you don't do something with that, they're just going to end up in a dumpster when you're dead.
Yes.
And I was like, that's a piece of history, and I've got, you know, at least, you know, 3-4 years of when South Beach was blowing up, and I've got all that documented. And then I started a Facebook group with the same name, Making of South Beach, and it's just been the go-to. And so I came up, I was doing a documentary, wanted to do 90 minutes, and it turned out I interviewed 150 people.
Wow.
At least a dozen of which have passed since then.
I was going to say that.
Jerry, one of them.
Yeah.
But so I've ended up with this huge archive of material, and so it came out to 22 episodes, and so I wanted to hold out and do a great production, but just so much time had passed by. I was like, okay, I'm just putting it up on the Facebook group and let everybody just enjoy and relive it, and if you know in the future, you know, they want some big money wants to come in and redo it and do it something.
You know what I would venture to say, and I truly believe, is that there's probably 10 documentaries that need to be made, all sub-documentaries, maybe about like people like you that, you know, grew up in another city, that moved here, and then to tell the story of how much South Beach and Miami Beach in total has changed. There's probably one that needs to be made about downtown, and one that needs to be made about, you know, Ocean Drive, and there are so many people that have all these memories and have all of the raw footage that can be converted out.
What makes South Beach unique about all the other places that you mentioned is one of the people I interviewed, he said at one time you could spit in any direction and hit a model.
Right.
You know, and it was that way. There were just more models than there were jobs.
You know, people often say that about me when they see me walking by. They say, holy cow, they goes, that guy's a model. Look at this guy walking by.
Well, back to that topic, I'm surprised no one has done a movie on South Beach.
Right.
You know, like the 90s, South Beach, something like that. Because back then we had Glam Slam, we had Fat Black Pussycat, we have Backdoor Bambi. I mean,
the living room, Liquid.
And I'm sure that there are plenty of people that have enough footage from like small cameras or like little handy cams or whatever, that if you put it all together with a bunch of interviews from everybody from that time, it'd be huge.
I've got live footage. There's a little girl, Veronica Milterino. She was like 16 years old. Her mom would drop her off with one of these huge Super 8s, bigger than her.
Right.
And she gave me her footage, and it was priceless because you cannot recreate that stuff.
No.
We danced different. Our clothes were different. We acted different. There's just, you look at this, the old archive video, and it's just like, you can't get people today to act like that.
Well, you know what the biggest difference is that now, back then we went to clubs and we actually danced.
Yeah.
Now everybody's standing.
Phone.
They're standing on the couches and they're taking videos.
My son's 21, and a couple of weeks ago he sent me a video. I said, "Where you at?" He's like, "Oh, I'm at a nightclub," and he sends me a video.
And everybody's got their phones out.
Like, everyone's up against the wall on the phone. No one's dancing.
Yeah.
We dance so much that there's this. It was before your time.
Because the cell phones were this big.
Yeah, exactly.
We danced so much that there was and I always love bringing this up because it's probably one of the best parties I went to in the 90s. It was called Fat Black Pussycat.
Yes.
It was all funky.
It was where it was on the corner of Espanola Way and Washington.
Yeah,
not Washington, Collins, right?
Well, it started off at 1203 Washington.
That's
at
where it
Mario's.
was. Yeah.
Started off there in the back alley. John Hood and his crew of people.
Yeah.
Which have a great Fat Black Pussycat episode.
Yeah.
It's because.
And then they got moved up to Liquid upstairs.
Well, what happened was it's a long story, but
didn't the guy who ran those parties, didn't he just pass away recently?
Well, what happened was John Gotti got arrested.
Okay.
So John Gotti's crew had to come in and make their money clean.
Right.
So when they went in, their family could live, and so there's mob bars everywhere.
Right.
And so this one bar, 1203.
I've never heard of John Gotti. Who is that? I've never heard of him. Is he popular? I don't know who he is.
Yeah, a little place in
a bunch of bars and nightclubs here.
Ozone Park.
Yeah, the Bergen Hunting Fish Club. Yeah.
But Fatback, we used to dance so much that night we used to dress like pimps. I would literally put in a one-piece white suit with an open, collar, with a hat with a feather, and we would go there and just dance all night, dressed like pimps. Everyone was dressed. It was incredible. It was Madonna, sitting there.
It's almost like the Limelight, because people would go to the Limelight and you would be in character. You would go. Yes. We would go in costumes. Yeah.
I mean, a big reason why we dress like pimps is because we got in there faster.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because it was a packed nightclub, and usually the hot girls going first and then the dudes last. But, I used to go with 3 or 4 of my friends, and we used to show up there all pimped out and stuff like that. And I'd be like, "Hey, guys, let's go."
Yeah.
And we would get in there easy.
It's funny, speaking about dressing like a pimp, Bobby dressed like a South Beach modern-day pimp.
Yeah, I know. He's all orange, yellow glasses. No.
He's got the swag, man. Smuggle. Yeah, I like that. It's fantastic.
That's great.
But to finish the story with 1203.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Was so they went to ownerships, and then it got John Gotti, Mickey Rourke was gonna. He testified as a character witness for John Gotti. John gave him 1203 as a present.
Okay.
Then it got transferred to Chris Pacello,
right.
And then that burned down.
Shocking.
And tragic. And then that made the insurance money created the money for Liquid.
Of course, yeah.
And Liquid was iconic, and Chris is very smart on who he brought in as partners, and very very smart, crafty individual, and
very much.
One of the most famous front door guy worked at
Gilbert.
Yeah.
Gilbert Stafford.
Yep.
Gilbert worked
Didn't Gilbert just pass away recently?
No,
years ago.
10 years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was just his anniversary of his death. That's what it was. That's what I saw on social media.
But he was one of a kind. I remember he told me a story one time. He was
gentleman of South Beach.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I remember. I wasn't even living here, and I remember him.
Yeah.
How about from coming down here? Because I mean, I might or may not have some friends that were involved in these clubs, and some family relationships. And so we would come down, like a whole crew of us would come down, and we'd stay at like the Shelbourne, or we'd stay at the Delano, and then we would go to all these clubs, and we were big shots in these clubs.
It was probably your crew, because what happened to Gilbert towards the end, he told me a story that he had a couple of New Yorkers that got to the nightclub, and it was all guys, and he said, "I'm not letting you guys in." And they were like, "What the hell?" La, la, la,
Yeah.
la, la,
Do you
la.
know who I am? Do you know who you know my
Exactly.
father is? Yeah.
And then what happened was Gilbert, when he got home, he lived just a few blocks from Liquid. When he got home, 2 of those freaking guys were waiting for him in his apartment.
Wow.
And they told him, "Remember my face. If I go to that freaking nightclub again, you're letting me in." And after that happened,
Good thing I'm bald now and people don't
I
recognize
know.
me.
After that, Gilbert's like, he really slowed down. He was like, that was very
Scary. Yeah, they're in your house.
You know, he's an older gay man living alone, and then you have these 2 big guys waiting for your house. After that, he kind of slowed down a little.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
But you brought up a good point, and I want to tie that in as we wrap this up about how, you know, Mickey Rourke had his place, Sylvester Stallone had his place, Madonna had her place. You know, we had all of these celebrities that were tied to these places. You know, now we've got Grootman and Pharrell, but they're really not South Beach guys.
Yeah.
You know, and I really believe that not only the South Beach Film Festival being part of the reincarnation of the greatness of South Beach, but the success of this is so detrimental to the success of future activations and events like this where people are going to come and capitalize on the South Beach name. I mean, as we close, give me some closing thoughts on where the festival's going and how you think it can really have an impact on helping South Beach become great again.
Well, we're a great avenue for and a place for young filmmakers because we love a lot of our stuff that we picked are from the local community. You know, a lot of our music videos are all from people from here.
Sure.
'Cause that's, you know, if we're not going to, you know, don't get me wrong, we got internationals as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, we like to showcase local talent because that's where they're going to shine. And that's that's what we're growing. We're growing these flowers or these crops are coming out of here. If we're not going to showcase them, who will?
Yeah. And we have independent first-time directors, producers, and we have like the movies we were talking about, features of well-known actors. And I think, you know, one of the big reasons why we did this is to give these new students or these new directors a platform, right? For them to showcase their movie, be in front of producers, be in front of these big production companies, and to
our last screening is Murder Garden, which is about Miami Gardens.
Yeah.
And that was produced down here. Murder Garden 2. Murder Garden 1, you know, it just shows, you know, young filmmakers want to show the difference between a production that's not well funded and one that is. Is night and day. Murder Garden 2 is spot on.
Yeah, and we want to bring back the A, B list celebrities. We want the actors to come here. We want more movies to be shot here. We just want better crowds to come here. You know, the past 10, 15 years in South Beach, it's been pretty bad. People are getting
It's getting better. We haven't had cold-blooded murders going on.
Minor put a lot of cops on the street. He's doing really good. I think bringing all these health fitness events are changing the whole look of Miami Beach, which is what it is.
And people are getting out of that party atmosphere and going to health now. That's the only reason I'm still alive.
Well,
drinking.
There's no nightclubs now, which is crazy. There's bars.
Yeah.
I mean,
I go to Anatomy. You go into Anatomy at 9:00 at night. It's packed. You know, nobody, because why? First of all, why go out and spend $37 for a tequila reposado? You know, when you got a $300 a month gym membership, just go to the gym and hang out. The girls are hotter in the gym anyways.
Yeah. Look, we did this because we wanted to be the first ones to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Naturally.
And we know that we're one of the fastest growing film festivals in the country right now, from first to second, just by the amount of submissions and the type of feedback that we're getting, and just. You know, these celebrity movies that we're featuring, they don't just go to any film festival. You know what I mean? They pick the right ones where there's a good crowd, money, and the
exposure.
The atmosphere.
And the plans that they have for Miami is going to blow people away. So we're going to be poised when the flower opens up and all this construction, all those cranes are done.
Yep.
You know, they have plans. They're not dumping this money in here for nothing.
Listen, let me tell you something as we wrap this up. I'm a firm believer, and I am psychologically, metaphysically tied to your success because my vision, you know, you and I have had talks about this, and my vision is to have a TV studio. There was once a TV studio at the Sony building on the first floor. I forget what the Whammo TV.
Yeah.
Is to put a small TV studio in Lincoln Road with a couple of podcast studios and then like a performance space and a studio very much like this.
That whole building was full of production.
Yeah, but just a small place like this that maybe fits 50 people, maybe 1,000 square feet, that's dedicated to just live streaming TV, doing interviews like this with everybody that's in Miami, because that's going to help to put Miami Beach and Lincoln Road back on the entertainment map. And it all starts with something small. A journey of 1,000 miles always starts with the original step. You guys, this is your second or third year with the festival?
Second.
It's the second year with the festival. Yep. I'm sure it's going to be a million times better this year than it was last year. And probably 5 years from now, it's going to be like Art Basel was in the early 2000s, right?
And that's our goal, to build this up to just be a huge film festival where we could spend 4 days with friends watching great movies and just bringing a good crowd to Miami Beach.
Yeah, absolutely. How can, let's wrap this up. How can people buy tickets? How can people find out about the festival? Tell us a little bit more about that.
SOBEfilmfest.com.
Okay.
Just go on there. You see a listing of all the calendar of all the screenings, all the schedules, how to get in touch with us. You'll see all the sponsors on there, but SOBEfilmfest.com.
Okay, great. And how could people, more importantly, I mean, we want them to come to the film festival, but we want them to engage with you and get to know you guys as well.
BobbyRadical.com.
BobbyRadical.com.
Diego Caiola, I don't know, just Google me.
Just Google you. I mean, your last name is it C-I-A-O-L-A?
C-A-I.
C-A-I.
That's Italian. That's Sicily Italian.
I know. You Argentines, it's like Argentina's filled with the Germans and the Italians,
Exactly. Well, me Italian, but yeah, there's a lot of Germans there.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, it's been a fantastic time sitting and talking with you for the past 45 minutes or so. I really do appreciate spending time with people, true icons of Miami Beach, people that have the best interests of Miami Beach and the future of the city at hand. Make sure you follow Boost TV. Make sure that you come to the film festival and hang out with us and spend some time with us. And more importantly, make sure that you share all of this and share anything film festival related on your socials to really create awareness about it. I'm Ronnie G. This has been the Definitely Miami podcast. We were so happy to have you guys here. We'll see you guys at the film festival in a couple of weeks. You got it.
Take
care.